Missouri is a great birding state. More than 300 types of birds spend time here every year. Birdwatching has become a popular pastime, with more than 70 million birdwatchers in the country. Okay, do you hear the bird? Just look in the direction and try to see it in your binoculars. Hi, I'm Jim Wilson, State Ornithologist with the Missouri Department of Conservation. My son and I like to spend time watching birds. If you're interested in birds and want to learn more species, it's easy to get started. All you need is some time and some binoculars and a place to go. Even in a backyard like this, you may be able to see 50 or 60 different kinds of birds. Learn to listen for the bird calls. Listening is often your key to finding them. The best time to go birding is in the early morning when the birds are most vocal and active. If you can't get out then, the best time to go is any time you can. Now you're welcome to join my son and I as we go birding here at home and away from home.
Look, there's a nest.
Oh, a robin's nest. Good eye. The easiest place to birdwatch is at home. You've probably noticed birds flying through your yard or nesting in your trees. For viewing all year round, many people hang feeders. This is especially nice in winter when it's cold and food sources for birds are more scarce. In Missouri, we have a broad variety of species that come around in the winter, such as cardinals, titmice, chickadees, and house finches. To help tell birds apart, it's important to learn their basic features. Pay attention to the bill, tail, and the overall body shape of the bird. Also be aware of feather patterns and their colors. You don't have to learn all of these in one day. You kind of learn as you go along. Probably the most common backyard bird is the cardinal. They have larger, cone-shaped bills. These larger bills are used for cracking the largest types of seeds. The male and female are colored differently. Like some other birds, the males have brighter, deeper colors, and the females have more muted, subtle colors. The male cardinal is bright red, and the females rust brown. Both sexes have a small black face mask and chin. Features like color and pattern of color can really help you identify the birds. Suppose you've seen these finches at your feeder, but you can't tell if they're house finches or purple finches. You've learned that the male house finch has an orangish color and the male purple finch is more rose-colored. Although knowing this helps, you're still not sure because you rarely see them at the same time. So maybe you found out that their patterns of color are streaks on his chest and the male purple finch doesn't. Now you're starting to get a better idea how to tell them apart. Then you find out that all house finches have square tails and all purple finches have notched tails. That's an obvious difference that you can see when they visit your feeder. Knowing how to look for these details, the colors, patterns of color, and shape of the tail, will really help you to identify birds.
You're right, Dad. These are heavy.
Here, why don't you try these? A good pair of 7 by 35 binoculars are your best choice for bird watching. They are light and yet they are powerful enough to let you see the details on the bird so that you can identify it. Remember, your binoculars are your means of approaching the bird. Also, field guides will help you to identify the new birds you're going to be seeing. There are several good guides available at most bookstores. They have pictures of birds, descriptions of behavior, the habitats they use, along with maps that show you where they occur. If you are really into learning more about birds, the Conservation Department has audio cassettes that identify bird calls. Since much of bird watching is really bird listening, you can become familiar with the interesting sounds of birds in Missouri. Although every season has its special type of birds, spring is one of the best times to bird watch. There's a lot of variety of species coming through Missouri and lots of singing. During the spring mating season, the males are very vocal and some, like the male goldfinch, begin showing brilliant colors. They have a dark black cap and bright yellow feathers. Well, this looks like a good spot. See, we have the open fields and we have the woods, two different kinds of habitats. And right here at the woodland edge, we should see lots of different kinds of birds.
What should we look for first?
Well, the first thing we do is listen. We listen to locate, then look to identify.
I can hear a bird singing over there.
Okay, there it is on the top of the cedar tree. Okay, once you've sighted the bird, try to raise your binoculars without taking your eye off the bird so you can see them through your binoculars.
this isn't as easy as I thought.
Well, it takes a while to develop those skills. There's another bird over there in the top of that tree, over in the distance. Why don't you try to see that one?
Yeah, that's a neat one.
That's a male northern oriole. You can see the bright orange color, the black-orange wings, the long curved bill, and the black head and neck. As you see these more often, you'll learn the details. All right, do you see the bird singing up there?
You mean that bluebird?
Well, it's a bird that's blue, but it's not a bluebird. It's a male indigo bunting. See how short and compact his body is? He's dark blue and he has this little short conical bill. The females are identical to the males except they're all brown. The bluebird is the state bird of Missouri. This is a pair of eastern bluebirds. The male's back and wings are bright blue, whereas the female is a little plainer and a bit more gray. She also has a duller breast color than the male. As you start learning birds, you may begin to notice that some birds are more common in certain types of habitats. A bird that you might find along streams is the Louisiana water thrush. It's one of over a dozen warblers that nests in Missouri. They eat insects along the water's edge. They're really a unique bird. You can see them bobbing up and down, looking like they're following the way the water moves. You'll see a variety of birds around a lake or marsh area. On a typical day, you might see giant Canada geese. They have a black head and neck, white cheek patch, and an overall round body. The surface of the water is a good place to look for birds, but the edges are very nice too. The red-winged blackbird is easy to spot because it perches high on reeds. The male's bright red shoulder patches show up well against its black body. It's a beautiful bird that can usually be seen around cattails and marshy areas. Along the edge of the water is the great blue heron. It has a long neck and legs and a white speckled front. A common ground nester is the killdeer. The male and female, which look alike, have two black bands on their chest. Killdeer nest in gravel to hide their eggs, which look like big spotted rocks. Look at the tiny bird on the tip of that hickory branch. That's a male ruby-throated hummingbird. See its red throat?
It just looks dark to me.
Well, it depends on the lighting. Sometimes bird colors will look different, depending on whether they're in the sun or in the shade. The ruby-throated hummingbird is really the only kind of hummingbird in Missouri. The males have a ruby red throat, but the females are a real dull green with no bright patch on their throat. Well, we saw lots of kinds of birds, didn't we?
Yeah, thanks, man. I had a good time.
And we hope you enjoyed learning about the birds. As you can see, bird watching is a fine family activity, and it's a good way to enjoy nature. All you need are three things: binoculars, a field guide, and a little time to listen and watch.